Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Callie. I don't know why, but I just had this like surge of joy come over me. I'm not really sure why, but for those of you who don't know me, my name's Callie. This is my channel. It's usually super random. Today, however, it's not gonna be that random because I am doing my daily energy update. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Or you could check out the channel. There's a lot of different things on here. My guarantee is that there's something for everyone, and if there's not yet, there will be. So make sure you subscribe so you can be there for that divinely guided message straight to you. Right? That's how I feel like this works. That things we see, we're supposed to see. People we run into, we're supposed to run into for some purpose. It's like for me, it all has purpose or none of it does. And I refuse to live with the thought that it's all meaningless. You can call me a, what do you call those people who don't live in reality? But that's me. It all has purpose. It all has meaning. There's a reason I can figure out to most things. Maybe not everything, but on some level, you know, the reason is there. So anyway, today is Sunday. Oh my God, I have itchy nose. Today is Sunday, the 23rd. So it is a 5. It is a Mercury. To really honor that Gemini energy. We just entered into Gemini season a couple days ago, and so the mind battles have begun. Let the battles commence, right? Because Gemini season is a big time for the internal struggle, the internal battle, the internal war, right? The internal influencing, the internal influences battling over who will win, who will dominate, who will take the lead. Are we going to do what we want? Or are we going to do what we feel? You know, this is a time to really find that balance in between, you know, the two very different parts of self, you know, and we see this every day. There's a part of us that just wants to rage, like it's angry. And then there's a part that just wants to go cry in the corner, you know, or just two different voices usually always telling us, you know. Actually, for some people, it's more than two and even three. You know, I like to say you have when talking of constructs of the mind, right? You have the medulla, which is like your fear, survival, reptilian complex. Then you have the limbic system, and that's, you know, like your compassion, your love. It's also known as the mammalian center. So we have a part of our brain that is very similar to reptiles. It's very ancient, and it functions like a reptile brain, very primal, very focused on survival. And then we have the mammalian center, which is the limbic system. It holds our belief centers and our values and our core beliefs, you know, that we learned really young. And that's the part that's responsible for like the love, the compassion, and the nurturing. And then we have the neocortex, and, you know, in the right, and that is our ability to logic and reason and see, you know, things in a different way, like past and present or future, you know, rather than being like an animal living in the moment constantly. So they call it, you know, fear, love, and logic. Fear, love, logic. First, fear, the center of it all is fear. And that fear can grow into the love, which can then grow into the logic. So anyway, besides the three constructs of the brain, which I feel like are very prevalent in everybody's mind, you know, you got fear saying, no, don't Don't do it. And the heart being like, oh, but, or the limbic system, you know, being like, oh, but they look hungry. And then, you know, logic being like, well, last time you did this, something bad happened. But this time the situation is a little different and you're in more control. And I decide to go with, you know, love. Logic lets you decide, is this a moment of love or a moment of fear? Do I need to be fearful or can I be open and compassionate and connect, you know? The mind, it's a funny thing. But anyway, aside from that, you know, you have the inner masculine and the inner feminine, and the two should work really well together, but it seems like what happened was one was always like in control, in power, and the other suffered, you know. Besides, you know, let me start from the beginning. The theory is that we all come from androgynous beings, right? There's a theory we come from androgynous beings who were male and female, okay? They, for some reason, had babies that were split, right? They could procreate by something called parthenogenesis, right? Is where they, you know, you don't need a male and a female to get pregnant, but they were androgynous. I don't know if they were hermaphroditic, you know. I'm just learning about this anyway. So apparently they gave birth to the male and the female, and through that, you know, to be a balanced being, we need to come together. But the thing is we all have our own inner feminine and masculine, and finding balance between the two. You know, they say the left brain, the right brain, you know, the physical, I guess, as physical as this place gets, representation of it would be the right brain and the left brain. But then the spiritual, you know, way of looking at it would be the masculine or feminine, which are the same thing. They're just like two sides of, you know, two different sides of a coin. So I don't know, there's this whole thing. And Gemini season really brings that out. It really brings up the battle between even what people call the mind and the heart, you know? That thinking versus feeling. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on. And I wish I had the best advice. I would say the best advice would be to do things that honor both your mind and your body. So do things that honor, you know, well, today is a Mercury day, so it's a learning day, an air day, a thinking day, you know. So whatever you can do to expand your mind, you know. And it's also a Sunday, so that's a day of action. They say it's a day of rest, but the sun to me seems like an active force, even though it's slow. You know, the key is to do things, to be calm and alert, you know, to be calm but ready. My mantra lately has been, I can do things calmly, you know, because I'm either like in a relaxed state, doing nothing, like, hey, you know, pushing the verge of like lazy, or I'm like doing things. And when I'm doing things, I'm like, you know, like in a, not a frantic state, but a semi-frantic state, because I'm just like, okay, what next, you know, not really like even taking time to breathe or drink water. And there's no reason, no logical reason I have to behave this way. It is all based on, I mean, you could say at some root fear, but also a lot of genetic programming. Okay, that's a whole nother thing, is your mind and your spirit can be one way, but your genetic programming and the way you were taught, you know, the behavior patterns you saw as a young child, they have this really crazy effect on what we do, our habits, how we feel, you know, it's crazy. All of it is so interconnected. And so, yeah, my thing is learning to be calm when I feel like things are chaotic, and that things aren't really chaotic. It's just my mind saying it's chaotic, but it's not really chaotic. You know, like if I look around, you know, when we start, the thing is like the world, when you get into like the energy of society, when you turn on the news, you turn on Facebook, you turn on anything like that, there's a lot of chaos happening. And so it's easy to like see it and be like, oh, I'm in chaos too. But then you look around you and it's like, wait, why is this chaos? You know, like what really is going wrong around me? Like what really is an issue, you know? But in our mind will just be like, something's wrong. This is crazy. Be alert, be anxious. You know, something bad's gonna happen. The biggest thing that's been going on right now is, this is a perfect example of the balance, or the battle within that everyone is experiencing. How do you tell the difference between your intuition, you know, your voice of intuition, which is truth, and your voice of insecure fear? You know, I have a lot of people be like, well, my intuition said this. And I was like, well, how do you not know that's your voice of fear? Like, how do you ever tell the difference between them? You know, besides, well, I'll tell you how you tell the difference. A lot of meditation, a lot of silence, a lot of stillness. Getting to really know the voices within, that's how, but it's easier said than done. I'll tell you that much. I just did a video recently where I was sharing about the times I didn't listen to the voice within, you know, didn't listen, had my consequence, realized, okay, I should listen. And today the same thing happened. Today I saw something and that little voice in my head said, you know, this is going to happen. And I was like, no. And I ignored it. And that's exactly what happened. And I was just like, you know what, man? It's the stillness. You know, we get so distracted with the chaos, we can't even listen to the own real true thought forms. You know, we're listening to all the chaos that's not even really ours, but came from some external thing, and it's like still badgering us even after the fact because we took it in. That's where that Mars energy comes in, protecting the portals, protecting what you see, protecting what you hear, protecting what you eat, you know? And even that is easier said than done, because it's like, to protect yourself, you can't participate in anything, you know? Without the conscious awareness of like, hey, okay, this is happening. This person is projecting a reality I don't want to coexist in, so I'm not going to take what they're saying as my own truth, you know? I just was reminded of a dream recently that I had where I was talking to a friend, and I said that this is a collective co-creation, meaning this reality that we're living in is created by the beliefs, thoughts, and feelings of everyone who participates in it. You know, we're fueling the dream. It's like, oh, we're all living in the Matrix. Well, do you remember when they showed everybody hooked to the machine? You know, like when they woke up to themselves, they were all hooked to the machine. They were being fed on. The humans were being used as battery source for the Matrix. Right? You remember that part? That is really what's happening, except it is in a different way. We're fueling this by our energy. We don't have to be physically hooked up to anything. We're energetic beings, and our energy, our attention, our thoughts are going into fueling and creating this whole existence or physical 3D reality that we see around us. There's obviously been a lot of effort put into it because we're, you know, standing basically on a playground we didn't create. This is somebody else's creation. You know, all of it is someone else's creation. Unless it's all, there's a theory that it's all us. Like, it's all us. Like, we were the originals. And then we just said, you know what? Basically, it's the game called life. I'll put that in my next video. So, because I don't want to make this too long. If you guys are watching this, okay, I'm going to record the video right after this. So, they will be uploaded together. I'll put it in the description below. I'll title it The Game Called Life. And I'll explain the theory of what is said to have happened, how we got here, and what we're doing here, why they refer to life as a game. So on and so forth, okay? I'll tell you what I know about the little story called life. The game that never ends, right? So anyway, if you guys, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, I know this was daily energy kind of, but we're getting a little off track. But if you came here for that, we got Mercury, all right? We got the conscious mind, the thinking. And then we got the sun. We got Sunday, the action, the remembering of our greatness and our power, right? The sun is radiant, and you are radiant. You have a very radiant internal self that can come out and shine forth at any minute. So remember that. Remember your strength and remember your power, okay? That's all for me on this subject today. Make sure you check out my next video, The Game Called Life. And I will see you guys all next time. Then, if you're there.